Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This is my full interview with Jason Blundell on the Eclipse DLC launch livestream. I talked to him for about half an hour total, and there are a few issues in the stream. There's points where, for example, they cut away from the camera so you can't see the pair of us talking, which, in my opinion, was a little frustrating, but it means you do get some gameplay in there as well, which is fine. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I've got community questions in there, I've got questions of my own, I brought up stuff from the past, Jason revealed some really interesting stuff about the future. This is packed with intel right now, so I'm hoping that you are happy with all the work that I've put into this to make it as good an interview as possible, and ask your questions and get loads of really exciting cool stuff for us to ponder for the future. I've been MrRoflWaffles, this is the video, enjoy. It's MrRoflWaffles here. I've got the huge pleasure right now to be joined by the one and only Jason Blundell, who is the director of Zombies at Treyarch. Zetsubou No Shima is out now, and, well, okay, so give us an idea, okay, of whereabouts, story-wise, we are in the map.
Well, I suppose the intro cinematic kind of sets it up, okay? So we blew up that ship and we ended up in the water, and our gang is now swimming to the island. Yep. And this is the Division 9 island, and this is where they've been playing with biological and human and animal kind of subjects with the power of 115. And so when we're going to get there, our team's going to find these perversions of nature in a very disturbing and creepy map, and that's where we're going in Zetsubou No Shima.
Right, okay, and then in terms of the new things to do with gameplay, right, so you've got a new boss thing called the Thrasher, a boss thing, it's not quite a zombie, it's some kind of plant golem something or other, right? What was the sort of general approach there in regards to the new features? Like, what sort of new stuff have you got on the map?
I mean, there's lots of different kind of mechanics that we're introducing in the map. The intermediate boss, if you will. So we've had this in Brutus in the past, you know, and this is the idea that our fan base is so kind of good at training our zombies around. We need something every so often to kind of mix it up and to kind of break the flow. And so he represents that. So from a purely gameplay point of view, it allows us to change the dynamic of a flow so that people can't get into just a steady rhythm. Again, part of my job is to hurt people and ultimately kill them in the map. And so, but you know, to help that, we've also got plants that the player can now grow to assist him on this island. So not everything I do is about killing. Sometimes I'm about helping players as well. Right,
and there's now as well, alongside the killing and the helping, there's also a lot of fear going into this because there are spiders, man.
Yeah.
What's the deal with those?
They used to scare the willies out of me, so it's a great thing to be in there. I think. And it ties in thematically into you know, we had Widow's Wine in Shadows of Evil, and it was a great opportunity to kind of extend some of that and to talk about some of the narrative. You know, some of the perk machines, the origins of the perk machines, where things are coming from.
Right.
It allows us to kind of peek back the sheets a little bit and have a look at some of the background for these ideas.
The origins of the perk machines, even. That's interesting stuff. Yeah. I can't wait to learn more. And with Dr. Monty in there as well now, even more interesting.
Absolutely.
So I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at the trailer itself for Zetsubou No Shima, because all of those new features are packed in there, and then we'll also basically get some gameplay. So we're going to play for, I think, about 25 minutes or so, something along those lines, and that way we'll be able to actually take a look at the Thrasher, the spiders, and all the other crazy fun stuff that you've packed in. I mean, it's a big map, but there's so many new things just crammed in there.
It's got dimensions that might, at first glance, not reveal themselves.
Right, okay, so even more secrets as well. So without further ado, let's check out the trailer, and then we will be able to play the map in a moment. Off the bat, and it's the first thing I did in the game.
Sure.
There's swimming now.
Yeah.
You could go for a little paddle.
You sure can. We have different depths as well. You can have a little paddle there at the front.
Right.
And then also later on, kind of do some deep sea diving.
Right. Okay.
Or, in the caves, I suppose.
And might there be some more interesting things hidden in those deeper depths?
There always is, isn't there? Right. Yeah. There's. You know, it's really about exploring. When you're kind of making a map, it's about, okay, how do we kind of combine the different elements together? Like, why can you give players different vibes, different feelings? So the swimming kind of this was the right map to kind of bring swimming in because of the organic side and because of how we've the geo itself, how we can actually move you through the space. Each map is considered from a spatial design point of view. In other words, are we going to make it claustrophobic? Are we going to tie you in? Are we going to make lots of kind of blind right and left turns? Are we going to move you up and down? And in this one, it's quite expansive laterally, but then also we want kind of points where you kind of really kind of go down and it feels like, wow, this map just kind of keeps on going in a different way.
And to, I guess, combat that fact that you've got such a huge map here, there's the spiders, and alongside just being spiders, they also web off certain areas during the spider rounds to just mess with you.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's so looking back at doors, right? Looking back at the kind of very known mechanic, the doors. I use my money, I open the doors up.
Right.
Well, what happens when they dynamically kind of change and close? What does that mean for solo gameplay, and what does that mean for co-op experiences as well? There's a kind of team-based morality that you have to apply, right? Which is like, okay, I don't need that right now, but if I open that up, if someone gets down later on, that's going to help me to kind of revive them. And so there's just one more thing to kind of think about and keep in the back of your head.
And alongside the spiders, like we said, the Thrasher, right?
Yep.
What were the sort of origins of a boss like that? Because you've got things like the Panzer, and it kind of fits with the storyline, the sort of thematic idea that Group 935 have been doing all this crazy stuff with Der Eisendrache and with the maps prior as well, with Origins.
Yep.
The Thrasher, on the other hand, is a big, mean plant monster.
He is a biological abomination.
Right, yeah. So much so that, I mean, he will pop out of the floor and then proceed to kill you.
Well, because here's the thing, I think the island is alive.
Right.
I think the very...
Is there more to read into that than...
there always is, right? I think the very soil itself, I think the very place that you're stood upon can't be trusted.
Okay.
Yes, you're seeing the kind of moving animate parts of it, but I think as the map is explored and people look at it, they will maybe realize that everything's not always as it seems.
Right. So it's not just the zombies here that are going to be fighting against you. There's also Mother Nature itself, seemingly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very telling, right? When you see the Thrasher, and you see the vines come up, they're kind of grabbing. Also, the Thrasher's kind of use of the undead as they run around.
Right.
I think that kind of maybe hints or points the direction for some of the themes and some of the elements that are going on in this map.
And we've just seen on the screen here as well, we've got buckets now in Zombies.
Yeah. I'm slowly building like a kitchen utilities together. We've got buckets, we've got plungers. I'm not sure what next. Like a whisk. Let's do a whisk next or something.
It's got to happen. I mean, you've got the spork, so...
We've got the spork, yeah.
You're going the full distance there.
Yeah, you got a knife, so...
Right, as well. Building up quite the array of melee weapons, speaking of which... A katana?
That's interesting. I don't think it goes in my kitchen, but...
Oh, I mean, you've got a boring kitchen then.
I have got a boring kitchen.
Indeed. Also on screen we can see here,
yes,
not only are they getting a money drop, which is cool in itself, but the plants on this map, like you mentioned on the couch earlier.
Yeah.
There's a lot to those things, aren't there?
There are, absolutely. It's... we have, when we talk about kind of rolling out mechanics and ideas, what we like to do is go, okay, here, get used to this thing. But as you all know, and as the fans will know, things usually have other dimensions. Things usually have like, oh, but if I do this or go there, that has now a different skew or a different way to look at it. So, plants and the organics are definitely the kind of key to that on this map.
And I mean, we've seen maps, if we go really far back in the zombie storyline, right? Maps like Shinonuma, for example. You've got kind of tie-ins with this map, the origins of Division 9, for example. Do you want to give us a little bit of an explanation of where they've kind of come from? Because up until Black Ops 3, they didn't really exist in the public eye, at least.
Yes,
so,
I think that's the key point in the public eye.
Right.
I mean, they're kind of the key to kind of zombie storytelling and where we're up to in this part of the story and where we're going is it's more about the obfuscation of information rather than didn't exist. It's more like, okay, now's the time when it's kind of important to kind of start to see this thing, and this might give you a certain view on previous events, on previous things.
Right.
That's really the kind of key to it. We're looking at the Japanese side. Obviously, we came from World War II or Origins, even World War I.
Yeah.
Well, there was other people involved in that. And what were they up to? What were they doing? And so this is talking about the Japanese part of that. What were they up to?
And so, in the same way that in the past we've had lesser known groups, like Group 601, for example.
Sure.
A favourite of mine, for sure. We know just so little about them. Is that something that you're also considering, as well as bringing in new sort of things into the story? Do you kind of go, Group 601, it's their time to shine. Will they be coming back?
Well, I won't specifically focus on them, but
okay.
I will say that, yeah, you want to, and we want to, show reason and connection for all these things. And sometimes we'll leave something out there, only to then bring it back later and kind of show its relevance. And what we're trying to look for in that is that kind of aha moment, right? I want to kind of put things in where suddenly people who are following it are kind of passionate about it, will see this moment and go, that makes total sense now for why those things were doing that and why that was there.
Right. And so, I mean, you've said several times, all maps are canon, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's just a crazy thought. When you've got maps like Nutter on Totem, where there's seemingly so little going on, it's canon. 5 is canon.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of these maps, and some of them as well, like the bonus maps, right? Like you, for example, you've got the Nuketown Zombies experience from Black 2. Those sorts of things contain their own little sort of twists on the gameplay. So you've got like the falling perks, and then again here we see falling perks. There are falling perks in this map. So it is really cool to see that you've kind of taken some of those features that you have dabbled with a bit in the past and gone, that's coming back. We want this one in Black Ops 3.
And it's, you know, that's the kind of the real kind of fun and play of it, which is you're saying, okay, I want to bring this element back, but now I'm going to put it with this other thing. And then what does that do to a map? What does that do to a playing experience, right? So I would never want to do like the template. Here's the template, just make maps of this. It's always about changing things and bringing surprises to the players. So you might see something returning, either for a narrative reason or as a gameplay mechanic to allow the map to work and function as a whole.
Right, and then there's characters from the past as well.
Yep.
I mean, they could always make a return, right? You've got, I mean, just in this map, just today, we've had Cypher's Soul, including mentions of Yuri and of Gersh, which is fantastic news. That's really great stuff. But then there are other characters, like we've got Mr. Rapt in Shadows of Evil. We know an awfully little about Mr. Rapt. The Pentagon Thief, for example, from 5. Amelia as well, which is a really old school one. And then going even further, Sophia. Those sorts of characters are sort of pillars of the story in many ways because they were sort of when it was forming, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we going to see any more tie-ins with those? Because obviously we've had Groff, in the previous map. Are more of those coming up?
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's great news.
Yeah.
That's really good news.
See, I'm giving you definites. I'm giving you absolute shit.
Yeah, that's rare.
I'm giving you solid stuff.
Speaking of solid stuff, let's talk about something that is completely not solid whatsoever. Dr. Maxis.
Okay.
Dr. Maxis is lacking a form, right? Right. So, I would really love if you could tell us something that we don't know about Dr. Maxis. Anything at all. Or give us some kind of...
He's allergic to peanut butter.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to have to take that, aren't I? That's going to have to be it. Fair enough. He's allergic to peanut butter, but is the Maxis in all the universes allergic to peanut butter?
Is he in all universes allergic to peanut butter? Not in all of them, no.
No? Okay, so right now...
Because a brain and a flying drone can't really eat peanut butter.
Ah, but you could wipe it on the drone.
I suppose you could.
If you really wanted to, just to do the test, for scientific purposes only. So, this is cool actually. Not only do we have these new groups like old groups like Group 601, we now have new groups like the Keepers and the Apothicons.
Yes, we do.
What's the deal with those?
I think this is a good point to go off script a little bit.
I'm down.
Okay.
I am so down.
So, this is a personal thank you from me to you on the fact that you're hosting this and moving through.
Yep.
I got a little bit surprised. Hold the camera's attention.
Oh boy. Yes. I'm so happy about this right now.
Here we go. I don't know if I'm going to get this in frame.
So
the cameramen are probably panicking behind the thing now.
To give people some context, right? There are a new group of sort of weird things in zombies right now called Keepers, and there's Apothicons as well, right? And we've started hearing about them from Shadows of Evil onwards. In fact, actually, that's a lie. We've heard about them in Origins as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on the battlefields of the Great War, I'm going to tell you how it all really began. All that was Samantha.
Yes.
So we've got these groups, and they're coming in, and that's exactly what you're seeing on the walls here, the writing of those races.
Yeah.
And on this shirt, we have their language. Both the languages, in fact. So not only
I'm gonna.
Drape it over
Here he
me.
goes. Here he goes.
Voila! Right. Okay. I'm just gonna stay here and never leave.
So I'm giving you the one and only clue.
You're giving.
I'm giving you the one and only clue.
Yes.
Don't say I never give you anything.
Thank you very much.
It's extra large because unfortunately I eat too many burgers and you're far more healthy than
It's
I
the
am.
peanut butter, man.
It's the peanut butter.
Clearly, Maxis is just it's what who you strive to be, right?
But that hopefully will give you a head start into some of the language and some of the things that you're seeing in the world.
This will be so useful. So any theorists out there, any zombies storyline fanatics, this is gold. So that's really good news.
That's the one of the kind as well. There's no other t-shirt like that.
I'm going to stop bunching it up. I better fold it quite neatly.
Don't wash it on a hot wash.
No, yeah.
I washed it before on the last one because I did the Noah one. I washed it, so it's cold washed, so it's nice and fresh for you.
Do you have a copy of this?
I got the digital format.
Okay, right. I was thinking I was the only keeper of the key.
The dev team will have to ring you up and say, we need to put
Milo,
this...
what was the word summon again? I've forgotten. Sorry, can you just sketch it out or something?
There you go.
So, all right, let's see. We've got spiders. Why spiders, man?
Spiders scare me.
Same here.
Yeah, and
there's on the screen now, actually. Deary me.
And obviously there's narrative reasons for spiders in particular.
Yep.
We've obviously seen Widow's Wine.
Yes, we have. Ever since the very first teasings of Black Ops 3 Zombies.
So as a return of spiders, and webbing to hide to stop you from getting through doors. So little beginnings there, little clues there.
And alongside things like the spiders, right? I just want to touch on the big spider.
Yeah.
That is available to fight against in the map. With Der Eisendrache, you guys implemented a really big boss.
Sure.
Right? It was fairly tall. That thing's been eating plenty of peanut butter.
Yes.
Right,
yes. And electrifying human souls, yes.
In its spare time, it's been eating the peanut butter. On its day job, it's just ruining people's Easter egg hopes, right?
Yes.
So, you started going there with the bosses in that map. And now we've got a spider boss that is not necessarily the same take on a boss kind of monster.
Right.
Is it probable that you're going to be doing more of that in the future, do you think? Would that be a likely assumption?
I suppose referring to the previous question, it's about what things you want to kind of combine together. I and the team really enjoyed having that moment. It has a narrative purpose as well. So I love the fact when we have both a game mechanic, which is exciting for players to engage in, and then also for the narrative guys, there's a thing to kind of go, oh, what's all that about? Why is that doing that?
Right.
And so yes, while it kind of sometimes it'll service one and the other, but my favourites is when it services both. So as long as that keeps doing that, then I would keep on looking at it. Yeah.
Right. We do have it down here, so just in case things wrap up earlier than expected, I want to jump into some community questions, right?
Sure.
Because I've been going on for ages about how I've been collecting questions for you. We've got a little selection here, so let's sort of zip through these, and then if there's more time at the end, we can explore further. Okay. So. Yes. Quickly going through them.
Yep.
Dan asks, okay, so there was a UI update yesterday, which introduced the visibility of things like the purple Margwa heart, which you can achieve or you can pick up at the end of the Shadows of Evil Easter egg, right?
Okay.
And there's, for example, the worm as well in the for the giant. You've got the worm there. That sort of UI change showed us that we were having those tracked, whether we had picked them up or not.
Yep.
Were they already being tracked?
Yes.
Right, okay, that's question one. Yeah. That was Dan.
So the reason for that, I'll just jump in. The reason is, we're always looking to make elements of your gameplay clearer to kind of help with that, right? So yes, we're trying to kill you, yes, we're trying to mess with you and hide things at certain points, but when it's something that it's an active mechanic, and I hope that shows with the introduction of more heavy-handed UI elements in general.
Yes,
to help people play it, to help people kind of get along, and so that was something that I think was a little bit lacking from in Shadows, for example, you know, and so we went back and added that in, and I think that's we look at that for every single DLC. There's always a continuous hey, is there something that's not hitting as strong as it should do? Let's go back and see if we can help them out.
Right. Okay. Here's a question that is a rather amusing one. Super Prodigy asks, do the Origins premise team have any phobias? He's speechless.
Well, ask the question again. See, in the form of your question,
Yeah.
that's actually very hard to answer.
Okay. Fair enough. How about? He's foiled my plan, everyone.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's unfortunate. I
That was
tried
very
so
good.
hard.
That's very good.
Okay.
Good try. Good try.
We'll move on to something that the community has been screaming at me over and over again so much, right? Is there a main quest Easter egg on the Giant? I doubt you can answer that question. Would you like me to give you something that you can answer?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so are there still any ciphers
Yep.
in the Giant
Yep.
that we haven't found? And so I'll clarify.
Yes, please do.
In the Giant, we've found a barcode, we've found a periodic table, which translates to a message, incidentally. We've found 3 written ciphers on scraps of paper.
Yep.
Are there any other codes or ciphers
Yeah.
that gives you a little bit of breadth in your...
Of that form.
Of that form in the Giant?
No, you've got all those.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
there are others, by the sounds of things, that are not necessarily of that form.
Is that one of your formal questions?
It is now. We're rewriting the script.
No comment.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, that works for me.
Okay.
Stephen asks, when will we learn about Richtofen's blood vials, and will it be before DLC 4?
When will we learn about his blood vials and will it be before DLC 4? I won't say when,
Okay.
but I will say yes. Before DLC 4.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so the blood vials we've been wondering about for so long now, they're in this map, they've been in all the previous maps with the Origins Richtofen, and they're a big question on everyone's minds right now is why? Why are they there? So getting some info about those is something I look forward to massively. Let's see. Matthew asks, Dr. Monty, right, has machines in the Spider Boss's lair, for example, in this map. Will we learn more about Dr. Monty soon?
I think it's fair to say that, yes, more information about Dr. Monty is forthcoming.
That's good enough for me. That works for me. Okay, so we've got the blood vials, we've got Dr. Monty. Here's a question from Brennan, right? Will the children be safe in the house?
I think so.
Oh, that's optimistic.
Yeah, I'm an optimistic kind of guy.
You are. You think
Yeah.
that Richtofen's a good guy, man.
Why? You guys are so hard.
He's a bad guy.
You guys are so hard on him.
He's not a good guy.
Oh my gosh.
There's a reason
Can
that
people not change?
There's a
Milo,
reason. No.
please, come on.
He alone can walk this path,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And his path is to take over the multiverse and live a happy life as Papa Richtofen.
I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can do. If
You can't do anything, man.
if
It's
you
not going to
guys-
change our opinions.
If you guys aren't going to give a man a second chance, then I don't know what we can do.
I don't know what he can do either.
Yeah,
Maybe he's going to be like, well, the community doubted me, so I'm gonna flip the switch and we're gonna go bad on these guys. Yeah, that might happen. DLC 4, DLC 3, who knows?
You never know.
Here's another question.
Yes.
Perker asks, when are we getting a Blunderbuss wonder weapon?
Nice question. Nice. Well, you got the Blunder Gat.
We do indeed.
Yeah,
Was there a little bit of Blundell there?
The bee.
The bee. The bees. The bees from Deriz. On the wall in Deriz, there is a piece of paper on a corkboard, written in German, right? And it talks about bees.
Yeah.
And it's never been explored again.
Yeah.
And it's just one of these things, I'm sitting there and going, why are they talking about bees in 2009 when you've got Nazi or research going on everywhere, right? Why bees?
Because they make honey.
Oh, that's a cryptic hint if ever I heard one. or it's nothing at all, but okay. Hassan asks, is Black Ops 3, specifically Black Ops 3 DLC 4,
Yes.
the end of zombies?
Wow. That's a heavy question. Here's what I'll say.
Okay, go for it.
I would say at the point when we've finished DLC 4, we're going to have a wonderful set of brackets around all of the content that the story's been telling for the last 8 years now. You're going to have a wonderful set of brackets around that, and I think then, some would say, oh, that's the end of that for this season, but I think that's only going to be the beginning for people who are interested in the narrative, interested in the story, and interested in going back and re-clarifying some of their thoughts and decisions on the content so far.
That's just crazy to me that is actually happening now. Because with Origins, right, We had the Origins ending, and it was mind-blowing. We had the introduction of these two children who Jason thinks are going to be safe, which is a nice, happy thought. This is not a happy mode, so don't expect it to come true. But we had the introduction of those characters, even though they were sort of already characters, but we'll leave the specifics out for now, okay? So we had that happening, and we've got this story at this point, which over the last 8 years, it's just become this great big spider's web of crazy, hectic information, just contradiction, paradoxes, all of this coming together. And the fact that you plan, whether this will work out or not, but the fact that you plan to try and fit that into a finite space.
It's going to work out, Milo. Have faith. Have
really?
Faith. I keep on asking you for this. Give a man a chance, have faith.
It's a running theme.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's more than meets the eye to that sentiment. There always is, every time. Yeah. Whether it's a cipher on Zetsubou, or whether it's you in a stream for Zetsubou talking about peanut butter and honey, which by the way is probably a great combination.
It is actually.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not unless you're Maxis, and then.
Oh no, yeah.
Then you're going to come out in
Well, it
hives
depends which Maxis.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And if he comes out in hives, then I'd like to at least see that, because then I'd see the damn man. That would be great.
Yeah, bit camera shy.
Right. Well, very much so.
Yeah.
In the Origins cutscene, he's yelling at his kids, and he still doesn't turn up, or his kids, maybe not. Who knows? Well, it's debatable, that whole thing, but I digress.
You got I digress in there.
Yep, I fit in. And so, I mean, even in now, right?
Yes.
In the cipher that we've decoded today, it says that a man is shouting to close the windows, and shouting with reference and the context of being those two children, a girl and a boy crying.
Okay.
And they're presumed to be in the house, and they're being heard through the walls. And it's like, why is this electrical interference causing this, and what does it mean, right?
Yeah.
So even to this day, Maxis just refuses to turn up.
Book them and they will come.
Book them and they will come. Well, there's this thing that's been introduced recently called the Chronorium, right? And one of the theories that people have had is that it is the book that we see in Der Eisendrache, in multiple places actually on that map.
Okay.
And potentially as well, it could also be tied in to Nero's book in Shadows of Evil, right?
Okay.
Nero has a book that for some reason seems to know more about the universe than any of us do.
Right.
Is that book... Oh, that's probably asking a bit too forward a question, isn't it?
You're about to waste that question then, weren't you?
Yeah, man. Okay, so how about... The Chronorium has just been introduced, right?
Okay.
You've talked about it. Richtofen has somehow gained knowledge from the Chronorium. He's been armed with this knowledge, and he's using it to go forth after Origins and do what must be done. The children must be saved, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff.
Okay.
Is the Chronorium something that we might be seeing more in this map, or in the coming sort of few maps, or is it literally just a little bridge between Origins and the Giant?
I think it would be fair to say that it has a significant influence on the DLC season that we're in. Obviously we're up to number 2,
right.
And we've got to get to number 4.
We absolutely do.
It would have a significant part on the story we're telling and how we're going to link everything together.
Do you reckon that we are... Are we on the right lines with our thinking so far?
Their lines, I don't think I'd go as far as confirming that they're the right lines.
Okay, all right, let's wrap things up.
Sure.
Final question here, right? You've talked in the past about an unsolvable Easter egg.
Yeah.
How do I word this in the best possible way, right? I want to talk about the ADFGX. I want to talk about all those ciphers we haven't solved on the Giant, on all these previous maps.
I just gave you a t-shirt.
You did. Maybe the ADFGX key's written in here, the transposition key, that'd be fantastic, right? But we've got this unsolvable Easter egg, which I'm sort of guessing there might be more than one of.
There might be.
There might be, right? So, is it something we've come at all close to, even just in the right sort of zone in Black Ops 3 so far?
Yes.
We have. Wow. That's just the biggest tease in the world. I wish I'd asked a better question now. So, that's going to wrap it up, I think, for this Zombies little segment, and we're going to shoot it over, I believe, to the others to basically wrap things up.
So that wraps it up. That was my entire segment with him. Hopefully you agree that the questions we asked were really quite interesting. I think that we got to some really cool topics, and the fact that we did manage to explore some stuff from the past while also looking towards the future and DLC 4 and the brackets that he's talking about with the storyline, the whole storyline, all of that is so interesting. So fingers crossed you've enjoyed it. Like I said, I have been MrRoflWaffles. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, the like button is a great place to waggle your index finger, and if you've done that, then thank you so much. I'm indebted to you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.